You're listening to the Talkative Introvert Podcast. Hello, Happy New Year. If you're new here, my name's Melissa. I'm the host of the Talkative Introvert Podcast. If you're not new here, welcome back. Today's going to be a solo episode, and it's also going to be a fairly short one. I'm finally closing out the season. Unfortunately, the season didn't go quite as planned, but at least I was still able to get some episodes out. Typically, if you are not new here, I close out the season every year. So every season is just, that year, which is why if you look back at my episodes, it's like goodbye 2020, goodbye 2021, what have you. So I did do a goodbye 2023 episode, but I still kept the season going because I wanted to make it to season 4, episode 20. And this was mainly because my friend Danny, who's been on the show, wanted to be on episode 69 or my 69th episode, but I was way past that. So I was like, you could do season 4, episode 20, but that's not happening. This is season 4, episode 20. And unfortunately, life is it's just hard. So we're just going to end it here, in good old, TTI fashion with a recap of this year. And maybe he could be on season 6, episode 9. but for the sake of just closing this out, because it's been, the season's been going on for 2 years now, and it's already 2025. I just want to close it out, and kind of start fresh for season 5, whenever that happens. I'll get to that later. So another reason why it's taking so long for me to close out the season and just get episodes out, or just to do the podcast in general, is that the past couple of years have just been really rough. There's just been a lot of not so great things happen one after the other, and it's been hard to just get a break or to take a break. And so the podcast was kind of placed on the back burner because of that. I won't go into great detail because a lot of it is pretty personal, but the biggest impact, I think, to my life and to my family, friends' lives, there was a lot of people that passed away. A lot of people that we lost these last couple of years, whether they were directly connected to me or to someone really close to me. And that's been really rough. I've even had a coworker pass away, and that was pretty rough because, work and my personal life, I try to keep very separate. So to have something tragic happen at work, but then also have something tragic happen in your personal life, it's just a double whammy. And even though I do try to keep my work life and personal life separate, we, or at least people who work the typical 9 to 5, Monday through Friday kind of jobs, you do create a relationship with the people you work with, and you kind of have, I don't know, I kind of don't like when people say this, but it is kind of like a second family, because you spend so much time with them and you get to know them, and you get to know them on a personal level. And, we're all human. We're not just a bunch of robots plugging away in the computer. So you do get to learn about your coworkers and sometimes even be friends with them. And I'm really close to my team, especially. We genuinely like each other, and we do spend time with each other. And so that was rough. That was definitely rough. And just several other, I don't say, sounds like a lot of people, but I mean, more than I've ever experienced. But, I won't go into detail to other people, but yeah, it's just like one thing after the other. And then, of course, the biggest impact, if you follow me on Instagram, and if you also, I did an episode about it. I just never posted like a soundbite about it, but the biggest impact in our life, at least this year, or no, sorry, it's 2025. Last year was, losing our dog, and he was a very big part of our family. So the last 2 years sucked. A lot of things happened, but a lot of good things happened too. And I think we as in my husband and I try to make the best out of, the losses in our life and the stuff that we've been having to deal with. Like for me, I've been to the ER several times. Sorry, not for me, but I've taken either my husband or my mom to the ER a few times. Don't worry, they're perfectly fine and healthy and good. But, things do happen, and I've had to do that, and that sucked, and that takes a toll on your body and your mental health too. And so it's just like one thing after the other. Whenever we think we got a break, something happens. And then this year, the Monday before Thanksgiving, we were actually like, things were pretty good for a while. And then Monday, my mom calls me and her dog died. It's the last out of the two. She had two. The first one passed away, I think it was last year also, or maybe the year before. And then her second one passed away this year, right before Thanksgiving. And that was rough, because when I got to her house Thanksgiving Day, like the first thing she did when she opened the door was just like let out a huge sigh and cried a little bit. And I don't do well with emotions. I think I've talked about that on the podcast. And I don't do well with people crying. And it also makes me cry. So that was, I felt bad because my mom called me and she was trying to talk to me. And I don't know if I said anything that quite made her feel better. And I didn't really say a whole lot. I don't know. I'm not the best person to talk to when something sad happens. I don't know. I kind of like I don't want to say shut down, but like, I just don't know what to say for someone who's so talkative. I am not talkative in that topic, in that area. So, she did eventually call her sister after she talked to me. So I think her sister made her feel better, but I did feel a little bad. And then on Thanksgiving Day, I just hugged her and I told her, don't cry. And that was it. That's all I said. I was like, that's probably not the appropriate thing to say or the right thing to say. But I also did not know what else to say. So the rest of Thanksgiving was fine though. We had a lot of food and it was good. And we all got to hang out, have fun and laugh. So it wasn't all bad. It was just that general, first interaction with my mom that morning. But I'm not sharing that just to get sympathy or for people to feel bad for me or anything like that. It was just, all of that was just to say that life is rough and some years are harder than others. And for me, it was this past 2 years were pretty rough. And unfortunately, just wasn't able to put any focus on the podcast, which really sucks for me because hopefully it doesn't suck for you. I apologize if you do listen to it and look forward to the new episode, because I know there are some people who are regular listeners that come back every time. So I do apologize that no episodes are coming out, not as regularly as I would like them to. But it also really sucks for me because I really like doing this. And I really like talking to my friends. And I really like talking to my family members and just talking in general. Like I was kind of dreading doing this, but now that I'm talking, I talk in my head all the time. So I am doing this anyways. So this time I'm just like verbally doing it. But anyways, if you are a longtime listener, then you know that this is a hobby for me. I still have my full-time job that I have to do, that I must do to pay for this hobby, pay for my life. So I don't make money out of this. This doesn't, support me in any way. I purely do it because I like to do it and because it's a hobby and something that it's just really fun to do. And I love having kind of like this archive of conversations with people I love talking to. And I do generally like meeting people. I've met quite a bit of podcasters or like guests that have been on the show that I genuinely like and would love to have them back on the podcast. I just haven't had the time to really do that and dedicate time to doing that. But I'm hoping in the next season that I will. So with that said, I did want to, I guess this episode was supposed to be a recap of this year, but looking back, considering that I didn't really post that many episodes, I think I've only posted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This will be the 8th episode of 2024, which is not a lot. Like usually within a year, I do like 20 plus episodes. So I'm not even close to doing half of what I usually do. But last year, I did get to do an episode with my brother. It literally got posted like during our birthday week. And that was fun. I do want to do more with my brother. My brother and I are very talkative. I think one time him and I drove to Monterey to go visit my aunt, who actually was the one who passed away. She was really close to us. We used to live with her and she's like kind of like a second mom to us. But we literally talked the entire time from Sacramento to Monterey while we were in Monterey, and then from Monterey back to Sacramento. And I don't know how or why, but we never run out of things to talk about. So I'm pretty excited to do another one with him. I want to do another one with him. And it actually ended up, if you follow me on Instagram, I think it ended up being the most downloaded episode. So that was pretty cool for his first one. People tend to really like my brother anyways. He's a very personable person and really, really easy to talk to. So if you want to hear me and my brother talk to each other, check out that episode. I think it's like the 13th one. Yeah. 13th episode. It's called Mind Your Own Hobby. But for like the rest of the year, I did, I think, mostly episodes with Bailey. I had 2 people who were guests. One was like a coach for introverts. She's an extrovert who does coaching for introverts, which I thought was interesting. And then I had one of my brother's coworker friend, go on the podcast too, because he's been wanting to start. I haven't followed up with him to see how he's doing. I probably should do that. He did email me like a while ago to listen to one of, I don't know if it's like the official start of his podcast, but if he is officially starting, I'll put that in the show notes on that episode. I think that's a couple before this one, and then, post it on social media or something and share it out. So if you liked his episode and want to hear more from him, there's probably I think he's starting off like on YouTube or something like that, but I will share it if I have it. But yeah, honestly, not much to talk about because there's not much that I did podcast wise last year. I think majority of the year was spent doing other stuff, meaning like I talked to my husband about this. 2024 was a very extroverted year for me. And I wouldn't say that I'm becoming more extroverted or anything like that. I think it was a result of losing Link, because I am perfectly content being by myself, spending time at home, being like especially since I started teleworking during the pandemic, there are times where I just would not leave the house. I would force myself to go outside so I could get some sunlight, because you need sunlight, because we're all basically house plants. But I could stay home all day, every day, if I really wanted to. However, being home sucks right now. Like, it's getting better. Like, I'm home by myself today, but it sucks being home without Link here. And I think that was the catalyst, if you will, or to me becoming more extroverted and having 2024 be extremely extroverted. So we did, we went on a 2-week cruise to Alaska, which I will never do ever again. But, that was, Alaska itself is pretty cool. The ship itself, not so great. We got seasick quite a bit of times, and I got really tired of the food and I got kind of really tired. Okay, maybe I'll do an episode on cruises in general, but you have to be okay being on a ship and saying hi to everybody every single day, because, just going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just to go out for a walk, just to anytime you have to get out of your room, it's an interaction with people. Like, everyone says good morning, everyone says hello, everyone nods or waves or, asks how's it going. It's like a constant interaction with people every single day, just to do basic things. Like, I would try to go really early, grab food from the buffet for breakfast, and try to scurry back to the room so I wouldn't interact with people. But it's just impossible. Everyone's awake. There's somebody awake. There's either early birds or people who stay in late. It doesn't matter. There's all kinds of people there, and you have to interact with them. So never again, at least not for 2 weeks. That's way too long. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah. So extrovert 2024, just been spending a lot of time with friends, even coworkers who become friends. And then a big one is, a couple of our friends moved back from wherever they were from back to California, and we've been seeing them quite a bit as well. So I think practically every weekend and sometimes weekdays last year was just booked with spending time with somebody or doing something or going to an event or, going to her family's place. I don't think I had very many free weekends. And then last year we also started going into the office twice a week, which I was dreading and I hated and I didn't want to do it. And I was bitching and moaning and was complaining to everybody and venting how much I hate it. But honestly, it was a blessing in disguise, because it was really hard to be home. So it helped out to be able to go into the office twice a week, so I wasn't home alone, 5 days a week while Brayden's working. So in a nutshell, the last 2 years sucked, and then last year was my extrovert year, and this year is kind of feels like it still is, because for someone who's so introverted, I was talking to my husband about this, but I do have quite a bit of friends, whether they were friends I've known for years, friends I've known since high school, some even middle school, and friends who coworkers who became friends and coworkers who left or retired. I literally just saw a coworker the other day. She retired, but we wanted to catch up since she retired. So just a lot of people. I know a lot of people, and a lot of people want to hang out, and I want to hang out with them too. But man, it is exhausting. It's exhausting. And I keep telling myself I want to say no, but I don't want to say no too much to the point where they don't want to ever hang out again, if that makes sense. Because I want to keep these people in my life, but there's just not enough days in the year. There's not enough days in a weekend. I think that's the more appropriate thing. 2 days for a weekend is not enough. Like I need a day. I need a day to do chores, a day to do something social, and the day to recover and get ready for the week. Like a 3-day weekend would be nice. 3 or 4-day weekend would be nice. But anyways, so like I said, I was going to keep this short. Now I'm just rambling, but I got stuff to do today. But I did want to talk about like what's next for the podcast. Like I said, I don't want to stop doing it, but I will be taking a break and doing some house cleaning, if you will. I need to update the website. I've been getting emails every week about things I need to update on there, and I just haven't done it. I no longer have a gallery because my gallery is linked to my Instagram, which I guess there's a new policy that it now needs to be linked to my Facebook page, but I don't have Facebook because I deleted it because Facebook is toxic and people on there are just awful. So, but because they're connected to each other and Facebook owns Instagram, I guess I have to make one, which I don't know. I've listened to other podcasts and they have Facebook groups on there and people like to talk to each other. I don't think I'm big enough to have a Facebook group, but I guess I could do that. I don't know. I did try to make the Facebook page again just so I could have my Instagram linked to my website, but Facebook told me I can't and they denied me. And I think it's because I deleted my profile and I'm trying to make it again. So I need to figure that out. I just got irritated, so I just gave up on that. I do have YouTube up and running again. I used to post videos on YouTube, which were just static images, but had the audio of the podcast. But I got an email and it said that YouTube can now connect to your podcast, which I thought was really cool. So all the episodes are up there. I know I had a few people who preferred listening to the podcast via YouTube, but I'm lazy. So if it's not automated, I don't want to do it because you used to have to manually upload it. But now it's just automatically connected to the podcast. So whenever this is live, it'll be live on YouTube as well. I remember when I was doing it manually, sometimes I would get so lazy that by the time it got on YouTube, it was already published everywhere else, like maybe a couple weeks before. So now it's going to be same time. So you guys could listen to the podcast there. So all the episodes are actually up there now. And then I do need to figure out my mic setup. As you may have heard in the last episode, the mic sounded like crap, and I'm really sorry if that was really hard to listen. I was doing a podcast with Bailey, and it would like break and do all these weird echoey things because my other mic broke on me. And of course, in good old lazy Melissa fashion, I waited too long to do anything about it. So I don't think it's like returnable or anything. So I had her use my old microphone, which I don't know what happened, but it like wouldn't pick up her voice, but her voice would get picked up on my other mic. I don't know. It's a whole thing. And it's also a really small room. So I need to figure out like how to do a mic setup in a tiny space with 2 people. So that's going to take a while because I'm lazy. That's the only excuse I have. Anyways, so I am going to take a break. I don't know when season 5 will happen. I don't know what date, what month, what season. So all I can say is follow me on Instagram, maybe Facebook, if I can figure that out. And I will let you know there. Otherwise, just follow me on Spotify or like all the other platforms, and it'll notify you when an episode comes out. I want to start it sometime this year in 2025, but depending on, all the house cleaning stuff I need to do and any surprises that may happen this year, there is a good chance that I might not start a new season until 2026, but we'll see. Wish me luck. For the next season, I won't put such high expectations or anything like that, but I am hoping to talk again with some people, some old guests that's been on the podcast. Obviously, I'm going to have Bailey on there multiple times. I still want to do episodes with like my brother and just like other friends and other family members, either who have been on the podcast or wants to go on the podcast. And I will say though, I am more than happy to be on your podcast. So if you're a podcaster and you need a guest, that's easy for me. I can easily talk to you and talk on the pod with whatever topic you want to talk about. It's really just the editing and the planning and the scheduling and all that stuff that's really hard for me to do on my side, and why my podcast is kind of, struggling. But if you're a guest, that's easy. I just have to talk and then you do all the work. So if you want me on yours, I can be on yours, and I'm happy to do it. I've been on a few already and it's so much fun. And the best thing about being a guest, like I said, is I don't have to do the work afterwards. I just have to go on and talk. But anyways, I hope you guys had a great holiday season. I hope 2024 didn't suck for you, but if it did suck for you, I wish you nothing but the best in 2025. And I hope all the surprises that happen this year are mostly positive. Obviously, it's wishful thinking to say I hope all of it's all positive, but at least let's hope that majority of it is. So with that said, thank you guys for listening, and I will hopefully talk to you in the next episode, whenever that may be.